I want to exercise, but I don't have time. Oh my goodness. How many times have we heard this one, Sal?
Ah, 1,000, a million, a gazillion times.
A lot, a lot. So
A lot, a
I
lot.
thought what we might do today is talk about some of the reasons that you may not have time, and then some of the strategies that you might be able to use to prioritize, your health and your fitness. And it's important to, I think, recognize that finding time to exercise is a personal choice and it involves you prioritizing yourself. So there are a lot of different reasons. And so what I've done is I picked a few out, just five, and what we can do is explore that, but it might be something different for you. So the first thing that I came up with was I've got a busy schedule. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm juggling work and a career. I've got family responsibilities. I've got other types of commitments, and just there's no time left for me to exercise. Um, and I'm going to say at this point that there will be something that you are doing that is probably just taking up time that you don't need to do, that could be replaced with a very quick workout. So phones and scrolling through phones is definitely one of those things that I think most of us are guilty of actually doing and killing a bit of time when we just don't feel like doing something else.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. My first, I have a question.
Yeah,
My
go for it.
first question to anybody out or everybody out there that is watching this, what do you consider a time amount? So they, as you said, we get this all the time. I don't have enough time.
Yeah,
Okay. So what do you consider a
enough
time
time.
amount that you
Yeah.
don't have enough time? What is that block look for you? Is it I don't have an hour
Yeah,
every day, or I don't have half an hour every day? So I think that's a very important question to ask yourself.
I like that a lot, because that comes back down to, how much time do you want to devote to it?
Yeah,
So in your head, are you thinking, okay, when I was 20, I used to go to the gym for an hour and a half,
yeah,
and now I don't have an hour and a half.
yeah,
So therefore, that's what I've got to do now. And it's not the case.
no,
What we need to do is evaluate, where we are in our life and what is going to work in the life that we have right now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got to stop comparing ourselves to ourselves 30, 40 years ago.
Mm,
We are
mm,
very different.
yeah. The next thing that I thought about was just family responsibilities, taking on maybe caregiving for a significant person in your life. That can be extremely time consuming, and it certainly can put a physical drain on you as well too. So therefore, you really don't feel like exercising. Yet when you take that time to allow yourself to have a little bit of self-care, you're then able to give that person you're caring for a lot more of you,
Mm,
if
mm.
that makes sense.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, recently, Paul had been in hospital, and so I had to come up with, how am I going to manage going back and forth to hospital and still manage to take care of myself at the same time. I reached out and got some help from other people, and then I still did factor in, those smaller type of workouts so that I could still exercise. And I think, Sel, that's where your question is so valuable, it's like, well, how much time are you trying to factor in to do this exercise?
Yes,
Yeah. Have you got another one you want to add?
I do. My next one was you talking about, reaching out to people and being the caregiver.
Mm.
How much are you nurturing? I'm a big you know what I'm like, a big nurturer.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do your washing, children. My children are 19 and 23. The
Yeah.
24-year-olds just moved out. But, I'm saying to my daughters, oh, pop your washing down. I'll do your washing. I'm doing the dishes. I'm tidying the lounge room. I'm tidying the house. And this is stuff I don't have to do.
No, you don't.
I don't, but
No.
that's that nurturing side of me, that mothering side,
Yeah.
that can be cut out and I can get extra time from that.
I remember once being told, someone missed a workout, and I'd rung her and I said, oh, missed you the day, how are you? Are you okay? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, I started doing the housework. And and I just kept on going. And I said, oh, well, you know what? The housework would have still been there. And guess what? It'll be dirty again very soon.
Yes.
So,
Yes, it is.
yeah,
It's still going to be there. Whether
yeah,
you do it now or later, it's still going to be there.
yeah. And on the
But
gravestone, are your family going to put, she had a tidy house?
yeah, no one's going to remember,
Yeah. No, exactly. I think the other thing can be work commitments as well too. So if you've got a really demanding job, or maybe you're doing shifts and you're doing 10 or 12-hour shifts, maybe you've got a long commute as well too. And so those types of things can definitely mean that the time is more limited, you know. So, you question at that point, because I worked out how long, when I was working in the city, how long I was traveling in and out type of thing, and what could I actually do. I moved closer. That was one thing.
yeah,
And then the second thing was, I used to drive my car in and park it in my car bay on a Sunday, and then I'd walk home. So I walked in and out at least every day. So,
yeah,
so there was a long commute with that, but it was a physical long commute as well too. So if you are getting on a bus, as an example, or a train, what you might do is get off at, the stop prior and add some physical activity into it. That
yeah,
walk as such, yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We live near a train station here. I used to travel into the city as well for work, and those peak hour trains are going every 15 minutes.
Mm.
If you're getting to the train station,
Yep.
15 minutes or half an hour before your train, jump on an earlier train. You've got 15 minutes.
Mm.
When you get into the city or get to your job, you've got 15 minutes before you start work. What can you do? Take the stairs.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and particularly if you are working in the city, you might find that there are gyms there.
Yeah.
And a lot of corporate buildings now also have gyms in their buildings. So, that's another option as well too.
Yeah.
So,
I take my client to a gym locally to me. And right behind them's a daycare. And a lot of the girls from the daycare on their lunch break go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because it's just a walk across the car
Oh,
park.
so close.
They get, and then they just go back to work. Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I thought of was just lack of support. So you feel like you don't have encouragement, so maybe, the household that you live in, they're non-exercisers. They're not interested in doing it. So therefore, they're not going to give you that level of support that you want. They're going to do everything they can to, maybe have you do things for them as opposed to things for you. So yeah, definitely support can be a big aspect to it.
And if you are in a household where they don't support you, but they criticize or make fun of what you want to do, that can have a big impact. Because you don't want to be looking stupid in front of anybody in your household, or you don't want to be criticized because you want to go and make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
So then you pull back and you go, well, I just won't do it.
Mm, mm. The other thing that it could be is fatigue as well too, because you are juggling so much, you just feel tired. You just don't feel up to it and you're just exhausted. So therefore it's like, no, I'm not doing that. And yet that little tiny bit of movement that you might do can actually help give you a little bit of energy to be able to keep going as well too.
Yes. It's like the little thing that I shared this morning. If you exercise, you get energy, but you need energy to exercise. And then it said
Yeah.
it's like a pyramid scheme. But it's
But
absolutely so true. And we know it. If you get up and you do that exercise, and it doesn't matter what it is, and it doesn't matter how long it is for, not only do you feel more upbeat physically, but you mentally are more upbeat as well.
oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about here in that those few reasons that we're giving is that they're very different to I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm saying, look, I'm feeling tired, or I actually don't have the support. So, so I think it's really, really important right now to highlight what's the specific challenge that you have,
Mm-hmm.
rather than dropping everything into I don't have time.
I don't have, yeah.
Yeah.
And can we just go back to that tired, Peter? Because you
Yep.
could be saying, I'm tired, and I don't want to work out. Being tired is, that's sort of like a slippery thing too. This is where I think it's really important to listen to your body. Are you tired because of your schedule? Or there could physically be something that you need to go and get checked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. And don't ignore it, because
No.
you know yourself better than anybody else. So
Yeah.
that's really, really important. So, and I think that can happen with a lot of these reasons that we see come through, or we get told that you that we can't exercise, or we can't create a consistent level of exercising, or whatever it happens to be, or I can't find the motivation. Generally, as a rule, what we're doing is we're looking at the outside of the onion, and we actually haven't pulled all those layers away to find out what is that real reason that is stopping me from actually exercising.
Hmm. And this is where, we often say, bring that but why in. So
Yes.
your question is, I don't have time, but why?
Mm,
Because my day's full and I work, but why?
mm.
Why is your day full? And I think, as you said, it helps you peel back that onion, and you're going to get down to the nitty gritty. And 9 times out of 10, you'll probably find, hey, I do actually have time.
Mm. Yeah, and when you start to look at that, what you then can do is you might uncover that you are needing support, or you might need alternate types of forms of exercises, or maybe it's about making some type of adjustment to how you're getting to work, coming home from work, or the time that you're spending on your family. So once you actually look at that, then and you've got that real reason, then the rest becomes easier. Because if you're saying, for example, the reason is that my environment isn't supportive, and that's why I don't have time to do it, then maybe that strategy for that is to seek out support. you know
Mm-hmm.
Tell the others in your household, for example, that I want to start exercising. And so, those things like the washing that you do for your kids, I'm not going to do the washing anymore. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do an exercise workout at that point. So if you think about, well, how long is it taking me to do that washing? If one of the girls are now doing it, then you've just clawed back I don't know, 20 minutes maybe.
Mm. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and this also comes into, you know, one of your reasons at the beginning was no time was, you know, caring for elderly parents.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, Now, I have seen it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of time, it's that one child that is relied on for everything,
Oh, totally. My
you
mother
know,
rings
and
me for everything.
for everything, yeah, you know.
Absolutely everything.
Um, you know, I know when my grandparents, when my grandma was going through dementia, my mum was the go-to. She
Yeah.
had two brothers and a sister, but
Yeah.
everything, she was relied upon for everything. So I think, you know, as you said before, with the household and then the no support, I think it's important to reach out to your siblings and say, hey, I need you to step up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, mum and
Oh,
dad need this, mum and dad need that. I need this amount of time on this day, these days. So it's time to
yeah.
step up. Yeah.
And like for me, I just, I was over there one day and she said, my house needs cleaning. And it was like, okay. I said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to register you on my aged care to
Yep.
get an assessment and get help. That's the first and foremost thing. Secondly, I'm going to ring my nieces and nephews and I will get them to come over and do it for you. Because I was like, at some point, I don't want to be her carer. I just want her to be my mum
Yep.
and
Yep.
me to be her daughter, you know?
Yep.
And so it's about having that good relationship with her as
Yeah.
opposed to, feeling like every time I show up, I've got to do something.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you need to have that, you know, you can't be the only child that is supporting your parents. So I think it's very
Yeah.
important to reach out to
Yeah.
your other siblings.
Yeah. But you may be the only person in the family as
Yeah.
well, too. So that's where you're looking at those external organizations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
To get
And
help.
there's so many out there that have, you know, I know my neighbours next door, they have, as you said, a cleaning lady comes, I think,
Yeah.
twice a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Exactly. Um, the next place that I would go then is, looking for alternate types of exercise that is going to be aligned with the life that you have and where you are right now. So if I
mhm.
said to you, okay, we're going to go hiking every morning for an hour, and then we're going to do a half an hour yoga, but it's going to take you 15 minutes to get there and 15 minutes to get back. Well, I've just taken up, 2 hours of your day. Um, where are you going to find 2 hours? You're not. So, it's being realistic. How much time do I actually have available?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. And what does that look like? And we
Mm.
often come back to those mini movements. So, if you can get up and you could do something while the kettle is boiling, that's 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So you could do push-ups, you could do squats, you could do plank jacks, you could do squat jumps. It doesn't matter what it
We had
is.
one of our ladies at the master class does the
Mm,
stairs while her kettle's boiling.
yeah,
Does her internal stairs. Yeah.
yeah, which is brilliant, absolutely
Mm.
brilliant. Because when you're lifting your feet like that, what you're doing is making sure that you've got that mobility and flexibility in your body as well too, which is going to be important as you age, so
Yes.
that you can live independently as well too. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that there was, I think I've read about the blue zones, and some of those, people who have, lived past 100 years, some of them have got double-story houses or even triple-story houses, and they say, I'm getting exercise every day, rather than shifting their bedroom down to level 1, they're
Yeah.
still up there on level 3.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So, um, and I think the next point, as far as, helping you find time and is to actually make some small adjustments to your daily routine. So, what can you currently do? And that comes back to these mini movements that we talk about. If you're a menopausal or a postmenopausal woman and you're not really taking care of your pelvic floor, you're probably going to find that you go into the bathroom a little bit more. And so every time you get up and go to the bathroom, what you can do is go, okay, I'm going to add something into this. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, but that's an adjustment to the routine so that you are getting that exercise. And then the next thing about it is, coming back to that question that you posed earlier, which was, what is the amount of time that you're talking about to exercise? Don't get up in your head and think, okay, that's not enough. That amount is better than what you're currently doing.
Which is nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Stop hitting snooze. How often are you hitting snooze for? How long is your snooze for?
Oh,
Of a morning.
yeah.
I know me. Yeah, mine's like half an hour. That's terrible.
Oh my goodness, you need to read Mel Robbins' book.
I know. I admittedly I haven't been
5-second rule.
sleeping very well.
Oh
But yeah,
because
how
you're
long
going
is your
through
snooze?
menopause. Yeah.
Yes. So any minute of sleep that I get, I take. Yeah. So how long's your snooze going for?
Yeah. Yep. The other things that I thought about was, having like realistic goals for yourself. And that comes back down again to that question that you kept on asking, Sal. It's like, how much time? 1 minute is better than no minutes. Pick up a kettlebell and do kettlebell swings for a minute. You'll know about it.
Yeah.
Your heart rate's going to come up, and you're going to do a little bit of exercise. You can add the squat into it as well too. And I'm just going to keep coming back to the fact that it's about you, your life, and you've got to personalize the plan that is right for you.
Yeah. For the here and now.
Yeah.
As we said before, just don't try and compare yourself to. Don't think that you're going to be able to do what you did when you were 20 or 25 or 30. It's about the here and now.
Yeah. And thinking about, like, how can I incorporate something else into my morning routine? Is there something that I'm currently doing that's not really of benefit? Am I sitting, just mulling over things, reading a book? Now, there's nothing wrong with reading a book, and I think that's great. If that book happens to be something that helps you learn, helps you develop and grow, but if it's a novel, well, then, I'd say exercise instead of reading your novel. But that's me. It might not be you. Again, as I keep saying, it does come back down to what is important to you.
How quick are you picking up your phone every morning, and how long are you standing there scrolling on it before your day starts?
Oh yeah.
You did mention the phone and scrolling. But we all reach for our phones as soon as we wake up, and then we're sitting there scrolling. How long is that going for?
And I think, Sal, you've already mentioned this, put it on your calendar, commit to yourself, make it happen.
Yeah.
And I remember when I worked in the corporate world and I was general manager of a company, at some point there, I said to the owner of the business, I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm out of here at 5. So it doesn't matter what's happening, I'm gone. And so, I would still have people coming at me and asking me things, and I'd be saying, walk with me while I go to my car. So, and they were the 3 days that, I would go to the gym and I would work out. And that was on my calendar.
Yeah.
And it was a priority for me.
And it was non-negotiable.
Yeah. And the other aspect of it is that I got support because I did go and talk to my boss about it.
Yeah.
And he was gone, yeah, okay, I understand that. That's good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I'll support that. So, maybe you don't have a boss that's like my boss, but, you can at least ask, you can at least try, because
Yes.
you never know what your answer is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
You never know till you ask.
Yeah, exactly. And I think then there's the old part, which is, getting some support from somebody else, I think that's important. Is there any other aspect that you think can help women with this time and assessment of, how to factor it into their day?
I think a great way to start is to keep track of your week.
Yeah.
Because we all say, "Oh, I don't have enough time," but what exactly do you do during the week? So get a book, write it down, keep a track of it. Because we often forget things that we do, but and we leave them out. It's like when we're eating healthy.
Yeah.
I remember all the healthy stuff I had yesterday, but I won't remember all the bad stuff I had last week. So I think it's a great idea to track your week. Don't change anything in it.
Just
because you
track it.
won't know. Just track it, so that way you know where your time's being spent.
Yeah, it's like the sitting aspect of it. I often ask women, how long do you sit for? And the response I get is, oh, I'm moving all day. And I had this recently from a client as well too, and it was like, seriously? I said, I sit for at least an hour, then I get up for about 10 minutes, and then I go back again. And I said, what are you doing? How are you moving? Oh, just pottering around. And I'm thinking, maybe not. It requires some honesty, because I know when I first actually assessed it, I'd sit for 5 hours, Sal.
Well, you look at our client when you first gave it to our clients a couple of years ago. One of our clients discovered she sits for 14 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
That's 10 hours for sleeping, cooking dinner, cooking her meals.
Yeah.
She was mortified that she sat that long.
And, she's a crafter, so she was just sitting there and she would just get so engrossed in it that she wouldn't get up and do anything. So, and even she would skip meals.
Yeah.
So, and that's not good. That's not good at all.
No.
So I think the important thing is to break it up, know that it's okay to do smaller chunks, that to be flexible in the schedule, and know that that schedule is going to keep changing. Consider doing home workouts. Get the whole family involved, because when you can get that support from the family, that makes it so much easier for you to actually get it done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop feeling guilty for putting yourself first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think some of the things that we've highlighted today, what I want you to do is to just think about them as being suggestions, and what you can take away from that and go, okay, here's what my life looks like. How can I find that little bit of time? Is it really time, or is it something else? And, where are those little moments that I can put something into my day that means I'm taking care of myself?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me today, Sal.
Thank you for having me, as always.
You are very welcome. We'll see you all soon. See you, ladies. Bye.
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 Bye.